For the ingredients, you're going to be using 2.5 cups of flour, 2 heaping tablespoons of sugar, granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 whole cup of unsalted butter. Make sure it's unsalted. You're also going to be needing 1/2 cup of iced water. Just mix the dry ingredients with a whisk. Now, if I worked for Martha Stewart, she'd fire me because I can tell you I don't sift my flour. But if you place it in the mixing bowl and then you whisk it with a whisk, I find that honestly it really doesn't even make a big difference. So as soon as you're done whisking the dry ingredients and kind of you're kind of fluffing it up, you're going to be placing it in your mixer. You can also do this from hand, but I strongly suggest using a mixer with a flour attachment. A dough attachment. Now this is the most important part. All I'm going to be doing is, mostly people cut in butter or shortening into the flour with a cutter, but what I do is I simply, and I find that this is gets the best results. Actually, let me take it out so you can see. Is with really clean hands, simply putting pieces and chunks of the butter into the flour, and then mixing it with your hand. Okay, once you have dropped in chunks of butter into the flour, you're just going to simply kind of take the flour and separate the pieces of butter gently. And there really isn't a tool that can do this any better than your fingers can, so this is the technique that I always use, and my crust turns out very, very, very nicely. You're just going to crumble it and separate it. And you want the butter to be in the smallest pieces possible. The idea is to evenly incorporate it into the dry flour. I'm separating and I'm crumbling. It's actually kind of fun. Very, very gentle. You're not squishing it, you're just kind of separating it. When it is evenly distributed as you can. Back right now. Okay, now that your flour and butter is a nice crumble, even crumble, you're going to place it back into the mixer. And we're going to turn it on to stir. Okay? So if you want to come around here so you can watch this very closely. I'm going to turn it on stir. And we're going to slowly let the water drop down in the middle and let the dough do its own thing. Wait for a few seconds to see what it's doing and assess what's happening with the flour. We don't want to put too much water in it. We're going to add a little bit more now that we see what's going on. Don't want it too dry. Okay, I'm going to stop it and I'm going to pinch the dough and see what it feels like. It's together quite nice, but it's still a little dry, so I'm going to just add a little more water and stir it again. that's it. Once the water is incorporated into the dough, you're just going to leave it alone. Don't keep stirring it. Don't touch it. Then what we're going to do is get saran wrap. And now I have doubled this pie crust recipe because I'm going to make enough dough for the pie crust and the lattice work that goes on top of an apple pie. Grab about half the dough. Place it in the saran wrap. Gently cover it and just kind of get it into a nice ball. We're going to place it in the refrigerator for just about a half an hour. Now, most crust and dough recipes ask to place it in the refrigerator for 1 to 4 hours, but this recipe doesn't need it. It actually gets a little too hard, so we're just going to place it in the refrigerator for up to a half an hour. Now, please keep in mind that if you only want the pie crust, to have the recipe that I gave you, and you can also click on the link below to my blog and I give you the recipe there.